Hey, welcome to the Bulletproof for BJJ podcast. Today, JT and I are talking about training discipline and specifically our approach to cultivating and expressing training discipline. Now, you've probably heard that it's not about motivation, but it's about cultivating discipline as a means to keep you consistent with your training. But what I realized was that we often don't understand where this discipline comes from. And then when I thought further about it, I realized that I didn't necessarily know what it is that drives JT to express his discipline. What you will find out in this episode is that what drives him and what drives me are actually two kind of different things. And I hope that if you're the sort of person that struggles with consistency in the training realm, that this episode can broaden your perspective on perhaps what it is that might drive you. Hope you enjoy. You don't need to be following fitness style accounts on Instagram for very long to come across this thing that, it's not about habits, it's about fucking discipline.
Discipline.
Yeah. Whether you're on that Jocko tip or not, the discipline thing comes up a lot, and it's this idea that people who are in a regular process of really anything, right? But training, right? And we're talking about that. They apply discipline to it, and that's what keeps them showing up, right? So it's not about inspiration or motivation. It's about
discipline.
Because I'm sure we're all aware of this, but you don't always feel inspired to do the thing. You don't always want to go to Jiu Jitsu. You don't always want to go to the gym and lift the weights or do the mobs. Some days you got to go in and just do it because you're like, no, this is what I do. And so it got me thinking. Would be an interesting thing to have a chat about because what drives your discipline is potentially different for all different people, right? Got me thinking. I was like, I'd actually be interested to know where your training discipline comes from. Like if we look at how much time I know you put into lifting weights and shit, and how much time you less so now, but have put into jiu-jitsu. What is at the heart of all of that?
Well, I mean, I was a very undisciplined child in terms of physically. I would say reasonably disciplined with like study and school and stuff, but I was a chubby kid and it wasn't a priority. Even though I did, play under 7 soccer, whatever, as the goalkeeper because I couldn't run. And, took up more space in the goal, right? So it was good for that. But no,
how old, were you big at 7?
I was pretty chubby.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I was pretty chubby up until about 10. But that to the side, it just wasn't prioritized in my family. My mum actually didn't care if I did sports at all. She cared about homework and get your grades. And so there was some kind of things around that. The thing that helped me establish a form of discipline was doing martial arts, like doing Taekwondo. That really kind of was a bit of a wake-up call to you need to consistently do a thing to get good at it. So if you want to get good at the thing, then you better do the thing. But I guess I had a very strong motivation at the time, which was I had a lot of insecurities around sports and fitness and athletics because I wasn't coordinated. I wasn't considered to be athletic. I get left out of sports teams. I got bullied. I was kind of like the loner kid. I actually just wanted to, fit in. I think everybody feels that way. But interestingly enough, when you come to martial arts, it's a solo thing. Even though you have a team and teammates, it's just you. And so you didn't need a team. So you couldn't be left out. As long as you're willing to do it, you're in. And the gym was kind of like that. The gym's empty. Do you want to go in there and do the thing or you don't? There's no one actually standing there saying, you can't come in here, you don't belong here. My experience with team sports was, you're not good enough, we don't like you, you can't sit with us. So that was pretty... that gave me a really strong thing of I just want to be a part of it, I just give me a chance, put me on, coach. And so then when I got introduced to the gym, I was like, well, no one's stopping me. I could just come do this shit, right? I guess it's like skateboarding or anything that you get curious about. If you like it and you're a kid, you're like, I'm going to do the out of this. I'm going to just do this as much as I can. I'm going to do it till I cripple myself. Like I read I got Bruce Lee's training journals and stuff. It's like, Bruce Lee did like 500 of one kind of punch. Shit, or he did 300 sit-ups. I'll do 300 sit-ups. I'm going to be like Bruce Lee. And like one time I did do that. I did 300 sit-ups and then I crippled myself. Like I couldn't breathe. I couldn't laugh. My dad was trying to make me laugh. I was like, just I couldn't move. I was for days.
Oh, good.
But it's one of those things that it was, I think for me, because I had been left out and then I found things where I couldn't be not included, I kind of injected myself into those things. And so I was like, yeah, I'm enjoying doing it. And then it was along the way that I was like, oh, holy shit, I'm just doing these things all the time. And obviously when it comes to a question of discipline, it's often when people don't want to do something and they feel like I have to be tougher or I have to X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
And I used to be a real motivation junkie, right? Like I did. I would binge watch motivational videos for hours.
Oh, like on the YouTube.
I love that shit.
Yeah.
Eric, the hip hop
Preacher.
bro. That one video that blew him up with the
NFL guy.
where he was like, you know, he's talking about the guy said, meet me at the water.
Keep your head underwater.
Yeah. He's like, when you want success as bad as you want to breathe, you know, it's a great vid, right? But I did learn over time that similar to caffeine or similar to energy, it can wear off. And then, well, what do you do then? So the biggest thing for me has always been, you know, discipline, habit, very, very similar things. But I guess similar to Jiu Jitsu or anything you do, when you do something very regularly, you then notice when you don't do it. When you do something inconsistently, you kind of don't notice, give or take. You know, you don't feel the difference.
Yeah.
I think we can relate this back to, for example, like sleeping well. You're sleeping pretty well, and then you have a kid. Oh, game over. Your sleep is now for a long time. But that is some of the biggest things that young parents, like my friends, when I talk to them, they're like, dude, kids are great, but man, your sleep is out the door. You thought you were not good at sleeping before. You have no choice now. And you notice it when it changes. When it's consistently, it might be up and down, but pretty consistently, 6-7 hours, like, okay. But you start to hit those nights where you only get 2 or 3, and then it's like, holy shit, everything's harder now. In the same way, you might have given up, you might have stopped smoking, or you might have stopped drinking. You're like, wow, things have gotten a bit easier. I breathe a bit better. I'm not, my energy's higher, and that's when you feel the benefit. And I think it's once you have experienced the benefit of doing something consistently, it locks in, like it cements.
Yeah, definitely. There is like a reward system there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think too, it's good you mentioned that, because it's not the case that it's just discipline like in its entirety that keeps you in the training process. It's multifaceted, right? But that is a big underpinning of it. Yeah, I was thinking about, I took my son to swimming class this morning.
Okay.
He's been, we've been going for, I don't know, a month or so, not long. And he's been terrified of like getting into the big pool. The big pool.
Does he like water?
It's still a small pool, but
no. Bigger pool.
Yeah, he likes it, but he's freaked out about getting in there.
Sure.
And in the pool, he had the belief, he thought there were dinosaurs and sharks in there.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, and I'm like, no, it's not. He's like, yeah, there's a pipe. They come through the pipe. I'm like, okay, they could theoretically, they could be there. Good point. But so anyway, we got him in the big pool today, right?
Oh, nice.
And the first thing we get out of there, I was like, mate, you did it. And he's like, yeah, Dad, are you proud of me? And I'm like, dude, I'm super proud of you. I'm like, are you proud of you? He's like, I'm so proud of me. And we high five and shit. And that's his narrative, right? Like all day he'll be riding that high, like, proud of me.
Dad's
like,
proud of me.
Yeah.
Mad.
And it made me think like, like a big part of what keeps me in the training process is making me proud of me.
Yeah.
And that thing to be like, and I think that's largely what you feel when you hit the training that you said you're going to do that day. Whatever it is, you do the weights or you go to jiu-jitsu and you're like, didn't want to, or I had a busy day and it was hard to get it in. You do it and you're proud of yourself.
Yes.
And that's why if you do it, in the morning, you usually have a better day.
Yeah.
Because it just puts you on better wavelength where you're like, yes, I'm a legend.
I'm making it happen.
My brother commented on it like on runners, and my brother's a great cynic, but he was always like, I hate runners. He's like, they swan past the cafe like they're better than everyone just because they went for a run. And I'm like, yeah, it's true, they do.
Sure.
And it's because they've gone out and made themselves proud, and then they're like walking.
They carry it.
They're carrying pride, and you're like, what are you so proud about? Like,
yeah. Well, they are better than you, Abe. Their VO2 max is better than yours. Better right. Believe it.
It's exactly right. But so I think that's and for me, like that really ties into like, what does the person that I want to be like do?
Yeah.
Like, what choice does the person that I want to be like make today?
Yeah, I think, yeah, man, I'm in full agreement. Like, it's your ability to keep your promises to yourself. That's what builds self-respect. And when you don't, then you do lose respect for yourself. And it's,
Hey, today's episode is brought to you by the Bulletproof For BJJ app. Now, this would be a cool idea, right? It's like the Christmas holidays and shit. You got some time with family. You're hanging out. You're not in your usual routine. You might be spending a few nights staying at, a cousin's house or at your parents' place, whatever. Imagine if you could just like tune in to some like short, sharp workouts. Maybe something that was like mobility focused for Jiu Jitsu. You could spend like 12, 15, 16 minutes, knock out a little routine and then get back to the family breakfast. Or maybe it was like a 30 to 40 minute kettlebell workout, something that only needed like one single kettlebell that you had in the car, didn't require a full gym, but you could get a sick workout in, and you could know that by the time you roll back to Jiu Jitsu in the new year, your body's fit, strong, and you're feeling good. Well, I tell you what, this is exactly what you'll find on our app, and you can access it right now. You can take a 14-day free trial, and after that point, if you decide that you didn't like the subscription, we'll give you a full money back guarantee. So jump in, go to the App Store, search Bulletproof for BJJ, jump into the app, start training today, and you'll see JT and us in the community group over the Christmas break, and we'll be helping you get the most out of the app. See you on the inside.
It's that time of year, my friends. It's the holiday season. Whether it's blistering cold and you're smashing eggnog, or it's ultra hot and you're cooking a barbecue, you are going to get dehydrated. You know what you need? You need Sodi, which is the perfect mixture of sodium, potassium, and magnesium. It's going to help cure all your hangovers and keep you powering strong to unwrap all those Christmas gifts. Now, go to Sodi, SODII.com.au and use the code Bulletproof15 to get yourself a sweet 15% off. Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. I gotta jump. I've worn it on the podcast once or twice, which is to thine own self be true, which is a line from Shakespeare. And it's not about being selfish. It's about actually, to thine own self be true, and to no man can thee be false, or something like that. And it's in Macbeth or Hamlet, and he's giving advice to his son, and he's trying to say like you have to keep your word to yourself. You have to be. I'm trying to think of the word. Not authentic. Virtue's the wrong word.
Genuine?
You have to be genuine in what you say, because if you can't keep your word to yourself, then you're not trustworthy.
Joey, thesaurus over here.
Yeah, watch out for that thesaurus coming through the pipe in the pool, bro. It'll get you. But it's one of those things that it is true that if you meet someone who lacks confidence, they typically don't. They don't take actions to back themselves. And it's a really positive spiral. The more actions you take to back yourself, the easier it is to back yourself. It doesn't feel like a big jump, because you go, what kind of person am I? I'm the kind of person who keeps my word. I'm the kind of person who goes to the gym. I'm the kind of person who goes for a run. And when you start to bring it into your identity, it stops being a question of will I, won't I? It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. This is something I do because a person like me does X. And making something part of your identity, even though you might look at certain things as being like that might not be good, it makes it less negotiable. So I can't remember which book I got this from. It could be like Atomic Habits, something like that. But it's like when you make something a rule, it's not negotiable. Like if
Right.
someone was to say, do you drink? And you're just like, my rule is I never drink. Like, and a rule? It's not like, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Like by you being very definite, usually it lets people know like that's not up for discussion. That's just something I do. And there may be a whole bunch of reasons why you do it. It's different for everyone. But the fact that you've made a deal with yourself and you keep that word with yourself, it makes it easier to do everything else. That's what I personally feel. So even though I know there's times when my lovely fiance Ola, soon to be wife, shout out wifey, she does get a little bit annoyed by how much time I spend at the gym. I'm like, if I didn't do this, I couldn't be who I am. Like it would be hard for me to respect myself. It would be hard for me to maintain my positive view of myself if I didn't go and do this thing. Even though it might seem luxurious or like to take this much time to be at the gym, you know? But for me, it's an investment in me feeling good about myself and then being able to then make good decisions. Because there's also a really positive thing, like you're saying about runners, how you feel after you work out is awesome. Like the mental clarity, the reduced stress, you know, like me driving to the gym, double fisting sugar-free Red Bulls and just cutting people off and just the worst human ever. I do, whether it's jiu-jitsu or anything else. Post jiu-jitsu, I'm just like, chill mix. Why is everyone driving so fast?
Letting
man?
people in.
Just, you go. Sure.
Yeah.
You know, karma. Like it's the universal love, baby. Yeah. Bob Marley in the mix. Like it's two different people. And it is literally not only making myself do something difficult, but there is a chemical change in me on the other side of that. And you should never really
The
make
chemicals are suppressed momentarily.
Well, no, it's different chemicals.
Yeah.
It's good chemicals coming through, you know, less stress hormones and more dopamine, serotonin. But the difficulty is making the decision based on how you feel before the gym. If that was the case, you would never go. Like you just wouldn't.
Yeah.
You have to kind of throw back to like, remember how good it was like last time, or you know, like you go, yeah, that was fucking good. Yeah, I gotta go. Even though I feel like shit. And I personally have never really regretted going to the gym, like lifting weights specifically. I have regretted once or twice going to jiu-jitsu. I've had like minor identity crises.
Oh yeah, jits. You can definitely. Well, yeah. There's a lot more that plays into it too, because like you can drag yourself there against your heartfelt desires, and then you can end up scrapping or just taking it to a level of intensity that you shouldn't be. Yeah, like this is not good for you today. No. And often in those times you're like, that was kind of thing. Yeah. Even though there's still something to be gleaned from value. That, yeah, it's like it's not in it. Whereas going to lift weights is it's very consistent. Yeah. So you might have a day where you're not performing as well.
Do a bit less.
Yeah, but the weights aren't like fighting back at you and goading you to have a go. You know,
those dumbbells are speaking me, Joe.
Yeah, and even a shitty weight session still makes you feel somewhat good. Yeah. Whereas a shitty jiu-jitsu session where you just get bashed the whole time and lose all the rounds to your arch nemesis, you just leave feeling bad.
Yeah, yeah, that'll give you nightmares.
Yeah.
Good weight session or even a bad weight session will help you sleep better.
Yeah.
You know, like there's never a real downside there. I think the other thing is that I have come to know in myself that like you were talking before about being the person, like respecting yourself. When I look in the mirror, I want to be proud of myself, similar to like you're saying with your son, and how happy he is to know that you're proud of him. And like I would like to make everyone who's close to me proud of me, but my standard for me is much higher than theirs. Right. So I think, what you want from you is different to what they want from you. Of course. But the thing is like, there's a meme where it's like my demons, like the guy's lying in bed and there's like this black figure with red eyes. And it's like, you could have done one more rep, you know, like I have to feel like I gave it as good as I had that day to be really satisfied with it. Even though I could have done really well, there's something in me that it's not enough to just go. I have to, depending on the day, I have to feel like I did it as well as I could, whatever that looks like. And that doesn't mean maxing, but I didn't skip any exercise. I didn't skip any reps. I did the thing.
Yeah, and that is, I mean, that's a subjective part of it, isn't it?
Sure.
Because I'm totally not that. I'm like,
Sure.
I'm like, we got in there, we got a pump on.
Sweet.
You know? Yeah, good job, man. Like, you weren't going to come, and look what you did. You did 3 sets, Joey.
Pat on the back.
Go get yourself a protein shake.
Why not?
You know, so you know, and I think that's you know, for the individual, right? But it's the act of getting in there, and I think where
does the discipline come from you? Because like obviously you've had a varied life, but you also you've been a trainer, gym owner, coach, a variety of things. How does this all come together to inform like your personal practice? Because I know that you do like having a few crew to train with. Like that seems to have been a consistent thing. As long as I've kind of, the last couple of years at least, I have seen that, like, that's, for me, it's neither here nor there. Like, I can just be in a gym by myself, or, I like having people around too. It's good to have a chat, but for me, that doesn't really play a part in it. Like,
you know, that for me that's been more of a thing in the last few years. Because I didn't used to always train with the guys, right?
Right.
I ran my group and I'd just coach.
Yeah.
And then I got to a point, and it was me needing to get my training done early in the morning.
Right.
I was never a train at 7 a.m. guy.
Yeah, right.
And I was like, fuck, I'm that busy with work and I'm that into my work that I will just not train.
Yeah.
I'll just fucking sit, crush the computer all day. And so I was like, I got to get it done in the morning. I've also got the family now. I want to get home to spend time with them. Whereas prior to having a family, I would train in the afternoon.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be like, cool, knock off 4:30, train for an hour or two.
Sure.
You know, go jiu-jitsu, whatever. So, yeah, so that was part of the strategy of making myself a morning training person.
Yes.
And I was like, hey, guys, I'm just going to jump into the group now.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was kind of, there was a few things going on there. But no, like I've been training by myself for the last couple of weeks because the group's on a break, right?
Yep.
Raylene and Dilch are both traveling, and we've got Christmas and shit coming up. And I've actually been really enjoying it.
Cool.
And, you know, largely keeping the morning thing going for a bit. But, you know, what keeps me going is I like the feeling of being strong, and I like the feeling of carrying muscle. You know, I'm not a huge guy, but I like being. But if I wasn't
thicker than a Snickers, boy.
Yeah, if I wasn't lifting weights, I would be. You know, I would be smaller,
slimmer.
And I like feeling bigger.
Sure.
You know, and I like
now that you're hanging out with Chris Williams and co. Now you're hanging out with the TRT gang.
Yeah, shit. You know. Peace out to Mike Israel.
Merrick Health, am I right? Promo
Hormone
code
optimization.
The natural, not that natural.
Yeah. But yeah, so I like the feeling. Like I like that. I like, you know, I have strong views on our need as a species to be like physically capable.
Yes,
I strongly feel that for both there's a physical benefit to it, but a spiritual benefit as well.
Yeah.
And like within that, right, when I go to the cafe.
Do you mean as you get stronger, Joe, your spirit gets stronger? Is this
an oath it does?
Jesus. Oh, wow.
But by dragging myself through this process, right, it makes me better. It sharpens the sword for whatever I want to wield that shit for.
The character.
I'll go a step further on that. When I'm out at the cafe and I see, or at daycare, and I see the other dads, and most of them look like they've been punching keys on a keyboard for 15 years, you know, under fluorescent lights in an office cubicle.
Yes, sir.
And no, like, I'm not trying to disrespect any one person.
Pitiful.
But I am trying to shine light
it's modern life.
on a thing here, right? And, you know, the rounded backs and just not the kind of guy that I would pick to be on my touch footy team. Or not the kind
Or
of
to
guy
go
that
in
I
a
pick
battle
like,
with
hey man,
you.
do you want to go deer hunting together? or yeah, hey, do you want to have a fun role? Like, do you want to try some jiu-jitsu? Like, I'm like, I almost try to see myself as like an antidote to that.
Sure.
And I'm like, it's my responsibility to not be that.
Yes.
You know, and you know, it's only reinforced more and more, right? With listen to Peter Attia or Hugh Marines kind of just like, hey guys, this shit only gets harder as you get older.
It's true.
And so I'm like, who are the older guys that I look to that I admire? And you know, when you see an older guy that's like obviously been training consistently,
Well
and
kept.
you're like, that's fucking impressive.
That's great.
I want to be that guy.
Yep.
Or better.
Yes.
I saw Hugh Jackman was in Sydney.
Yeah.
You see him, right? He was having a swim at Bondi Beach.
Yeah.
Guy looks fucking impeccable, right?
Right. Yeah. He's in good condition.
And Jackman's still jacked. And it's
Yes.
like, and I'm like, you want to be that dude. You know, we're not all 6.5 foot tall and got shoulders like Hugh, but
No.
yeah, so there's a desire to be a certain way. And then there's also like, I know, like, say the work that we do and that I do on a daily basis, I couldn't do that if I wasn't proud of myself. Like, but I wouldn't have the energy that I have if I wasn't looking after myself in that way.
Yep.
So it's just so many facets to it, you know?
Definitely. And I think the other thing is too, if we're talking about like a training discipline, if you haven't established it before, and I was actually saying this to earlier today, it's very similar to money. If you've never made $1 million, getting that million.
Who out here has never made
Who
a million?
hasn't
I mean,
made a
come
million?
on.
I mean, come on.
After I bought my 416 plex, I doubled that for a 32 plex. Oh, sorry, different show. Go on.
And I split that.
Yeah.
My man Alex Hormonesy. 10x. Grant Cardone. Anyway, what I wanted to say with that is, it's that time of year where you might have some time up your sleeve, but your academy is closed and you can't necessarily do jiu-jitsu in the physical. But you know where you can do it? In the mental. What am I talking about? I'm talking about Subeta. Subeta.io is the most comprehensive online platform for you to expand your jiu-jitsu. It doesn't matter if you've just started your jiu-jitsu journey or you've been in the game for 10 years, there's something in there for you to get better. It is structured in such a way that you are going to remember the lessons, which is key. So this holidays, go to subeta.io and use the code Bulletproof16 to get $16 off, and you can start your learning these holidays. It is far easier to maintain than to attain. If you've never deadlifted 200 kilos, but then you work yourself up and you do that, once you actually achieve a certain level of strength, it is actually easier to keep it. It may be harder to go beyond it, but if you've never done it before, if you've never had a habit or a disciplined approach to your training, it will feel hard initially. It will feel tough. But here's the thing, your body is adaptable. Let me throw back. I think I told this story very early in our show. There was one Christmas, New Year's, where I spent with my my good mate Shannon, who you met, and his partner at the time, Gabby.
Man.
He's a good man. But he was living in Queensland at the time. And yeah, they'd just been working and he'd been renovating. I was up there and I was helping him renovate his house. And so we were like painting and sanding and all this stuff. And it, basically what would happen almost every day, this is like in Brisbane, up in the mountain, it would rain at about 1 p.m. and then the humidity would just be fucked for the rest of the day. So I said, for the new year, because I was there for about 10 days after the new year, we're going to get up every day. And I made a little rule for like a little thing for us to do. And it was like, whatever, like 20 squats, 10 push-ups, or like, I think it was like 30 squats, 20 push-ups, and then like 10 sit-ups, something. But we had to do it every day. And so for me, it was like 100 squats, 50 push-ups, and 30 sit-ups. But we all had to do it at the same time, every day. And it was before the afternoon rain and the humidity was fucked. And usually it was like 30 degrees at 8 in the morning. But I'd just be like, hey guys, let's do the thing. And we'd also walk up this hill. It was near the house. And they just couldn't believe that you could do the same thing every day. And I'm like, no, the body will adapt. I was like, you'll be a bit sore initially, but you'll get better quicker. And you know, the first couple of days was hell for them. They were like, what the f***? I never do push-up. Like, this is bullshit. By day 4, they had improved dramatically. And by the end of 10 days, we could pump it out in time. Like it went from could barely do a sit-up to I can rep 10 sit-ups.
Right on.
I can do those squats fast. In less than 2 weeks. But we literally did it same time every day. And the body adapts. And this is the thing. We often build it up in our heads to be like, oh, getting up early. Oh, it's so hard. But the great thing about, say, getting up early, even though I know everyone has a different chronotype, so settle down, I understand. Some people like the night, some people like the morning. It's actually not that hard to program yourself to be a morning person in the sense that if you get up early, you get tired earlier in the day, which means you go to bed earlier. And
what kind of person is Ola?
She's 100% a night owl.
Yeah, because I was just say, I think we can say that as kind of morning people, but
no, but
you take Misa. You're not changing that.
No, but what I'm saying is you can function like you can.
Yeah, if you go to sleep earlier, no,
but if you do, the thing is, our lives are not particularly exhaustive.
Yeah,
we don't have a need for rest. We don't do much. But if you run 10Ks or walk 10Ks, carry a bunch of shit, do a day's physical work, you're like, I'm going to sleep. Yeah. I don't, it's not a choice. I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, and it's creating the demand, but our lives often don't demand it. But actually, there was a study done more recently to show that you can actually not reset, but yeah. Anyway, there is a chronotype. If you are a night owl, you're a night owl, that's fine. But you can get into the habit of getting up earlier and going to bed earlier, sheerly by the fact of doing it.
Yeah.
It fulfills itself.
And the night owl can still get up whatever's early for them.
Sure.
Right, and get that shit done.
Yeah. And look, I used to be more of the Jocko approach in terms of just fucking eat it. Like, who cares? Don't worry about emotions. That doesn't help. But what I've come to learn over time is that if you believe something to be good for you, it will be better for you. So if you're hating something, you're like, this is fucked, I fucking hate this, it won't be as good for you. So it's actually really important that whatever habit you're trying to establish, whether it's training or whatever it might be, that, yeah, it's definitely worthwhile to make it, like we've said with many other things, like lower the barrier to entry, make it fit in with what you're doing. Because there is benefits to training in the morning. But I still look at your training videos. I'm like, I'm not lifting weights at 7 a.m. No, I am not strong.
It's far from my
that. I know that I am strongest from kind of 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. That's like my ideal. I don't always get to train then, but ideally, if I'm going to train, that's when I know of years of experience, I'm going to consistently perform.
I mean, I think it's lucky for you that I train at that suboptimal hour. Because if Joey was pulling plates between 3 and 7, bro,
Christ.
you and all your big mates at that
Game over.
big boy gym.
Big boy gym.
Little Joey comes through, eat all the cake.
Strength workshop. You do what you like. I mean, look, I have trained in the morning plenty. And yeah, it's harder. I don't think you can get away from that. You dehydrated.
No, you sacrifice something. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's quite literally you've been asleep, so you don't necessarily have much fuel in the tank, or you've quickly ingested something. You're not as hydrated. Like, you haven't had as many cycles of water, food, bowel movements, whatever.
Stay ready, bro. It's get up and go time. The battle starts at sunrise. JT's like, sorry guys, I'll be in at 3 o'clock. I'll come in at the back on the horse and shit.
I am Musashi. I'm coming 5 hours late with my specially crafted sword to bring you undone. No, but I think knowing yourself and knowing what you can stick to is also good, because sometimes people are unable to establish something because they are really fighting their inclinations, right?
Yeah.
And there is great value in understanding yourself to be able to establish a good routine. That's what I would say.
Yeah, and I mean, that routine thing is a real another one of the facets of being successful with the thing, isn't it? It's not like signing up at a gym that's 16 suburbs away that you got to catch a bus and 2 trains to get to. It's like, make that shit convenient so it's repeatable on a consistent basis.
And I think the thing that I like, and this is just something I try to do for myself, is liking certain aspects of the process. So, for example, I always have a massive protein shake post-training. I fucking love that shit. I love it. I fucking love it. Like it's the reward. Like I'm looking forward to having my shake. I don't actually bring it with me. The car ride home, I'm like, when I get home, I'm having that protein shake, boy. It's going to be fucking good, because I had many years where I used to have really terrible protein shakes just because the powder was terrible and I was buying the wrong one, didn't taste that good. And we have found the amazing protein powder, like my favorite, and it is so consistently good. So it's like setting up these little rewards, even though the training in and of itself is a reward. I am looking forward to that. I know subconsciously that's coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the same way, like I prepare myself for the training, and there's like that kind of Pavlovian thing of, oh, okay, now I've got the journal and I'm here and I'm right. And actually my favorite pre-workout, full transparency, is a double espresso with ice cream, like an affogato. That is the pre-workout, my friends. Energy drinks, whatever, you do what you can. But if you can give me a double espresso and you pull that over a scoop of ice cream, just
Wow.
Or it could be like a Macca's ice cream cone and you just break the top of that bitch off into the larger cup with the double espresso in there.
Oh, wow. That sounds
It's so
I mean,
good.
as in, I would love to just eat don't get me wrong, you pour it over an ice cream scoop, but at Macca's, I'd be like, give me the fucking ice cream and then pound the chocolate.
No, it goes together.
Sauce.
It goes together surprisingly well.
How about that?
Anyway, putting it out there.
I didn't know this was going to be a nutrition episode. Shit.
No, but
No, but you find ways to bolster the habit for yourself.
the whole thing, because at each step along the way, it's kind of programmed. And I've spent so many years creating this little internal program, I don't have to think about it. Because if I don't do that, let's say I'm going to go to the gym that day and something happens, I don't go, I feel the lack of the thing.
Yeah.
I feel not pain, but I have missed all the little rewards and all the processes and all the good shit that comes with having done the right thing by myself. There's a little piece missing. Like, I get to the end of the day and I'm like, oh, I didn't do it. And it's not even so much about, oh, I'm disappointed, or because sometimes it gets out of your control. Life happens. I'm
going to miss training today, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, which is a bit disappointing, but, I'm also going out to dinner. That's sweet.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. There's upside.
But yeah, I mean, there's times, right, where you're like, fuck it, whatever schedule gets thrown upside down.
Yeah, you work, sick kid, whatever it happens.
But I'll do an extra 3 sets tomorrow to make up for it. Don't you worry about that.
Oh, get it. But yeah, man, I definitely feel like, obviously it's quite different for both of us. But, I've been going to the gym since I was, 12 years old. I'm 41 years old now. Sound like such a old guy. But it's one of those things that I enjoy the process. I have really conditioned myself to be like, this is great. I never really feel bad about this. And if anything, I feel multiples better having done it. And if you're someone who just hasn't, you are missing out, because there's something very, I think, personal that you can be proud of.
To just share before we wrap it up, my view on that, and I'm speaking to the person here that's not in the process. It's like, this is all like new information for maybe. But I don't enjoy the process on a micro level a lot of the time.
Sure.
Like, I don't feel like breaking away from what I'm doing to go to the gym. When I'm at the gym, I don't even feel like being here.
Right.
But I know that when I leave the gym, I'll be stoked.
Yeah.
And so it's like, dude, what are we talking? 45, 60 minutes?
Got to do it.
And it's like, you're doing something you don't want to do. Well, that's good for you. Like,
yes.
Right? Like, so you don't have to love it all. But the process, right, which is more the macro, is like, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that shit. And so I just want to say, because I think there is a misnomer or a misunderstanding with people like us. It's like, yeah, but they love it. They fucking love lifting weights. They love doing all that shit. It's like, yeah, sometimes, but oftentimes not.
Well, no, I regularly in the moments of screaming and clanging of weights, I'm like, why am I doing this to myself? I look over at someone else and they're like, I don't know. You know, but yeah, it's the 40 minutes, 50 minutes, hour later, you're like, you walk out, you're like, that's a nice sunset. The world's a better place.
Look at that reflection. Who's that meat axe?
Oh my God.
Oh, shit.
No, I believe that there is much in our life that takes us away from who we are, but you having the habit and the training discipline brings you back to who you are.
Hope you like that one, fam. Hey, do us a favor. It's Christmas time. It's the season of giving, so give us a like and a subscribe and a 5-star review. Do it. It's Christmas. Do it. Tell your friends. Do it. Appreciate it.
Ho, 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 mother.